don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn, and
I'm KTI.
KTI is on the side.
What up, I'm two?
Two's on the side. Mitch had a birthday yesterday, so he's allowed to get, I guess he's allowed not to be on the show this time.
He's floating in a tank, right?
He was floating in a tank as of 24 hours ago. Overnight even, which is pretty awesome.
Actually, did he sleep or did he just stay awake?
I don't know. I would drown, I would assume. That just doesn't seem conducive, like sleeping in water.
There's a ton of Epsom salt in there, though, so it
Keep you floating.
I got you.
Keep you above the water.
And we have a interestingly different show today. Combination of two things. Originally, we had planned for having two on here because he's here to launch a new product with another one of our former guests, CBD Steve, who was on the show. I think 2 times even he's been on now.
Yeah.
And he'll be on again today.
Oh, he doesn't want to come on. He says he's no good at this.
Come on, he can do it. Well, anyway, he's right upstairs. We'll drag his ass down here. Maybe
He's right over there.
He's right over there. So the idea was, CBDs again as an ongoing thing in our world because and just like cannabis has so many different facets, that CBD being the one that's like taken people like to and probably turned him around from what a guy that he was before, and now he's all of a sudden Mr.
Wanting to help people.
Wanting to help people, and jeez. But, we're talking true medicinal value of plants, and coincidentally enough, I have been getting pressure, well, coincidentally, but I've been, a friend of mine, a great friend of mine, inspired me to do this show.
All right, on.
Oh, yeah, hey. And it was about Kratom and about the descheduling of it, and it's interesting because it's such similar to cannabis for us. We've been through this the whole time, and now all of a sudden, something that was finally getting recognized by the right people who need to be recognizing it because it's effective are going to have this medicine snatched out from under them in like 2 weeks.
Big Farm.
Well, by the DEA, and by Big Pharma, now realizing like, hey, we got something here. And once again, nature is getting screwed, and we're trying to get the word out as much as we can. So we're going to have a couple different guests coming on. Of course, I didn't bring the list out. We got Jeff. Let me hold on. Let me get my list. 1 second. Hold it. Hold it. Hold on. I got it somewhere. I got it here. But we got Jeff. He's coming out of Pharmacy Dropout LLC is the name of his company. I love the name, actually.
That's pretty good.
That's a winner.
And he was brought to my attention by the other guy that brought our show kind of into effect, and he is also fighting the fight. And right now, I think people's worlds are getting turned upside down as far as knowing what their future is, because for a lot of people, this is their one source to get off opiates.
Yeah,
and
it's
things
like
that.
it hits your opiate receptors, but it's a
We're going to get into the scientific side, don't you?
Cool.
Worry.
There's a bee in your head.
What? Bee in my bonnet.
It's just a bee, though, not a wasp, so you're fine.
Move it, bee. I know he likes me. He likes me. Hold on. Let's get it all together here. And who else we got? We got
Todd.
Your boy.
Yeah, Todd. The Raven.
The Raven is in the house with some great bombs. The one that this is the famous.
Yeah, that's the one that's gotten all those hits on YouTube. That's like 35 million views of that kid having a seizure, and then they rub the stuff on his feet.
No shit.
You haven't seen that?
No, man.
Oh, that's freaking amazing.
No,
So there's
I live in a cave.
And then calling in, we got Susan Ash, who is the co-founder of the American Kratom Association, and she's the real scientist that's going to come in here and give us all the detailed information of. And then I want to know. I mean, the crazy part about it too is this is like not something like cannabis where you can just go home and whip this stuff out in a short time period. We're talking about stuff that's 50, 60 years old, the active good ones, right?
The Kratom is?
Yeah.
I did not know that. So it's like age.
Why is it? I think it's because of this stuff.
Yeah, here we'll
The
watch.
bee is coming here. This bee is desperate for the CBDs.
So it smells sweet, like there's some cinnamon and stuff in there.
There's some nectary things going on in here.
What's it under?
What?
The bomb.
Which one?
What's it called?
Look under American.
Quick.
Cannabis.
Well, let's do our week. This bee is driving me nuts. Come on, guys. I can't do a whole show with a bee in my face.
Hey, yo, Vinny.
Vinny, get rid of this bee.
Get rid of this bee, man.
They're disappearing except for on this set.
It's like I got one bee.
Dude, you should get it high.
In
They don't have an endocannabinoid system.
It won't leave.
Yeah, they don't have an
It'll leave
grab
with
it.
smoke.
Ah, there you go. He's got a good point.
Good point.
Thank you.
Good.
Vinny, we need a lighter.
So we're going to start with you because we can be total jackasses, and then we're going to get serious with those other
Yeah,
guys.
that's great, actually. That sounds about normal.
Exactly. And don't be discouraged when we talk to other people and get all whiny. I know how you get it. Why are you talking to them? I thought I was me.
No,
It's all about me. You
good.
won't, right? Promise?
Jesus.
That's a big promise.
No, yeah.
That's some
talk
commitment
to
right
other
there.
people. I wasn't whining. I was just saying, like, there was a
We actually
inconsistency in some other people's products that I found discerning at best.
So let's start with
Yeah.
with the weekend. Let's start with the week wrap up for a little recap. So how was your week?
Week was good. Went up to the mountains, hung out, and got to do a little hiking and gem hunting, and it was fun.
Find any?
Not really. Stuff that's like special. Yeah, carp caps. That's what I use them for now. Rocks for carp caps.
Heady.
Yeah,
That's so Colorado headed. So obviously, if you're a regular listener or viewer, then you would have known that I was in Alaska. If you're not, I was in Alaska. Went to the CannaCon. It was pretty awesome. Any excuse to go to Alaska. It's like if you go to Hawaii or Alaska, those are two states.
You been there before?
Never been to Alaska. No. So if someone asks me like, "You want to go to Alaska?" It's like, "Fuck yeah!"
Mm.
Especially in the summertime.
Beautiful?
Gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Anchorage not so gorgeous, but whatever. You can't expect it to be. But because it's weird because it's all cookie cutter America again. Even though you're way the fuck up there, you're basically in Russia, and former Russia.
Yeah.
And yet there's no signs of it. You know what I mean? There's no like old. You kind of hope that there'd be like some. Oh yeah, there's
Old Russian church or something like that.
I didn't see nothing like that. Well, maybe there is somewhere, but in general, though, it was once you got out into the woods and stuff, rode Polarises and shot guns and did all sorts of stuff. So it was did all the Alaska stuff and went fishing, obviously. And, you can see why people get addicted to that side.
I can't believe you were upset you only caught a 20-pound fish. That's
well, I was going
I mean,
for there's like 10-year-old kid who caught a 160-pound halibut.
Wow.
I was like, man, that's what I want.
Was he from Alaska?
No, it was just some tourist kid. Same deal. On that boat, the same boat that I was on, the guy was like, I was like, who got the biggest one? He's like, yeah, this little 10-year-old got a 160-pounder. I was like, damn.
How do you reel that in?
He didn't, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had somebody's help. It was heavier than him.
He hooked it, though.
So by default, he didn't actually get the largest fish.
Well, he's 10, so you gotta give him a little pat on the back.
And tell us about your adventures. I know you got some crazy stuff happening right now. What'd you do this week? Did you go down south somewhere and check out some cool stuff?
Well, we're moving because Lakewood City ordinances won't let me take care of my patients. So
Talk close to the mic.
we found a pretty cool place way down south.
Way down.
It's an old mortuary, so there's lots of room and caskets and embalming stuff.
What about Halloween this year? Can I get a casket from you? Can you hook me up?
They're like expensive caskets.
I know, but they
are?
left them for you, right? You just get them.
No, I think they're sold or they're going to be put in storage. I want a little kid one, though. There's like a bunch of those. Keep my weed in it.
I actually don't want that. But
just keep your weed in it. It's like a curing coffin.
that's what you could do. Why don't you make some of those?
That's a new thing down south.
Actually, we're going to be launching a different
product, the cure coffin.
We're looking at little coffin containers, and we're doing Coffin Seed Company down there. So we'll be little coffins,
awesome.
coffin seeds. I don't know yet what they're. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it'll work.
And you can talk to Sheldon and steal his idea with the cough, and then cough.
Oh, you're a Vinny coffin over there, yeah.
Right? You can do that.
I didn't. Yeah, what was
And
like
then
the
it won't
plan?
be so. Then it won't be so morbid,
No, it's supposed to be morbid. We're living in a funeral home.
Yeah, you gonna get a hearse now? You should.
Ooh, that'd be
You
tight.
pretty much should get a hearse. Now is time. Now is the time.
They make like all 4-wheel drive hearses.
Don't they have a special? Do they have a special? They must have a special place to pick them all up. And it's all hearse style, heights and everything. Perfect.
Oh, well, yeah, sort of. There's a big garage door,
a
but
loading zone.
it's creepy. I think I'm gonna be sleeping. My bedroom's gonna be the one where they like kept everybody cold and chilling for a little while.
Cold chilling room.
And
Nice.
the kitchen's pretty greasy.
That would be my worst nightmare.
The kitchen?
Yes.
There's a floor drain.
I know. Of course there is.
So
That's where all the embalming fluid went and body fluid.
Body fluid.
We're
Got blood.
We're gonna approach it with a. There's like corpse makeup.
I had another friend of mine who lived in one in Amsterdam, and it was pretty weird. It was like you go over there and you're just like, dude, this is creepy as fuck. No matter what you did, it was creepy. Like it was just weird.
Well, you gotta get all the crucifixes and stuff out
Like
of
it's
there.
not. They were never designed for comfort too. That's the other thing. Like you're like they're not thinking like people are going to be living in these places. So when you actually were living in them, it was like yeah, this is weird. This is kind of like just
We're gonna
big wide because everything's wide open and they won't, they don't close it in too much. So you had to.
Well, those wide open rooms are just going to be full of beautiful plants.
I know. It'll be interesting to see. I wonder what the plants are gonna. I wonder what the vibration they're gonna get off of that.
I mean, no one died there.
I was
Technically,
going to say, that's the one thing. It's not an ER or something,
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's true. It's not the death at the spot, but
But it's still a little
maybe somebody was not dead when they were in there. I mean, it could have been
knocking on the coffin.
Yeah, he could have died.
The guy who's renting it to me, he lives next door. And he was the coroner for 10 years in the county. And when I asked him how many bodies had come through, he kind of chuckled at me and wouldn't tell me. Like everybody in the county that died came through that place, and it just kind of.
Got some stories.
No, we're gonna breathe some life back into the place, so that's the plan.
There you go.
I bet I sleep like I'm dead. Yeah.
So, all right, let's bust into it.
All right, ready?
We're coming up on the quarter past the hour. The dilly-dallying's over, bro.
So
tell us about this product. Tell us
do you
about.
remember last time I was here and we had bottles with no stickers on them, and I kept jumping up and
and you were complaining about the other guy's stuff having sediment or something like that.
it didn't mix right. It wasn't homogenized.
They changed their formula.
Good.
Because of you.
Good.
Now is it fly? God damn, we're getting attacked.
We changed our formula too because of them. But
that's what they have to do.
Change.
I'll get you guys together all the time so you can all just see what everyone else is doing.
But we got a sticker now, and that's nice. And then we got an office upstairs directly upstairs from the Sohai is buy all of it. Also conveniently a not a bed and breakfast, but you can rent it.
Breakfast.
It's not a bed and breakfast.
Bud and breakfast.
Oh, there you go.
It's a bud and breakfast.
Yeah, it's like a high end.
You definitely get this when you rent the room, right?
I don't know. That's up to Steve if he wants to give
Steve
those
will
away.
put it in the fridge. Come on.
But
you gotta do.
he noticed just
upsell. Let's call it upsell.
He's had this for a while and he's been testing them out. But now since he hadn't had it for the last 3 days, he says his Crohn's is bugging the crap out of him. So hopefully that fixes that real soon. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It works.
No, and for those who don't know, because CBD Steve was also on the show, and he's basically the guy behind this actual product in the sense of
Yeah, because he wanted the olive oil. I was all about some CBD and some oil, but he's like, I can get great real olive oil, and if I don't know how many people pay attention to olive oil, but a lot of it's fake. Yeah,
a lot of fake crap.
So this is like pure organic.
But it's
olive
also,
oil.
if people didn't see the show, it's pretty much the only thing he can consume.
Oh yeah, because he's got Crohn's. He can't do like coconut. He can't do other nuts. He can't do all kinds of weird stuff.
And that's the thing about people having to use stuff regularly. You got to come up with something that you got to once you figure it out. And it's interesting to see because you can tell when he's more comfortable. Like
he's all it's like personable. Okay. Yeah. Not like holding his guts like this,
right? So, what's the concentration? What's the ratios? Could you give us a little feedback on that?
Well, these are this is 1,000 milligrams of extract, not just some weird CBD isolate, but this is actually a full spectrum product with all the cannabinoids and terpenes, all that stuff.
Sure.
So there's 1,000 milligrams in each bottle.
What do you do? What do you put in? Is it what kind of base?
In the olive oil.
No, but what the extract? How is it? What does it extract it into?
Oh, it was a hydrocarbon extraction, and then we did a further. I don't know if he distilled it. I think he might have. Not like an
wash.
like an ethanol wash, but not like trying to pull out anything just to get the. Because we purged the heck out of it, just to make sure there was nothing in there.
No actual.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, so these are going to start hitting the shelves. We got some distributors, and if you go to the website, anybody that wants to hook up with the stuff, it's bioliveit.com. Bioliveit.com.
Not livid.
Not livid.
Yeah, can be if you don't get it.
Yeah.
When you don't have it.
But we're going to offer distributors on the site, so you can go to the site and sign up and either buy like a bottle or two.
Every state, right?
Yeah, everywhere across the country. We have a couple other products.
And international, technically, right? Anywhere.
So, yeah, we'll get there.
I mean, why not?
Because I make these by hand. So
I
don't know if I
can. You don't have to deliver them by hand. I mean, you can actually send them.
But we're working on it. We're working on
no THC, so it really technically should be available. It should be. Anywhere.
There's like 0.06% of THC in it.
0.06, 9.6. So.
0.066, yeah, something like that. It's real low. And we're right now we're taking down 1,000 hemp plants out in the field to be able to. This is the last batch that we have purchased from somebody else. From now on, we'll be using our own material, all grown by us and outdoors. Good hemp.
And the starting material, was it? You say you got it from somebody else, but was it always? Was it the same type every time, or was it?
Yeah. It's been the same genetics the whole time, and then extracted the same. We're working on better genetics to be able to pull off, better spectrums and stuff, and we're gonna batch number them all so we could tell,
Yeah, that's important because if you got people actually getting different results, you need to get that
Yeah,
sort
like,
of
okay, well,
feedback
what does
loop.
your batch number say? Oh, you 4? Okay, we can go back, see the data, see what we did, and replicate that. Plus, we're going to maybe put some in some other oils, Coconut oil is a really good carrier. Also, we're going to be doing this for pets. That was kind of like my initial motivation, was to help people's pets. And we've had terrific results with arthritic pets or pets with seizures, the whole deal. So we're going to hustle these in dog food stores and stuff so that people can enjoy their pets longer and stuff too.
Sure.
And regular health food stores, like not big chains like the Whole Foods, but smaller.
Are you going to put directions on different labels for different things? Like, so if it's it's kind of saying, is it obviously, well, there's no directions, are there?
There is a directions. It's let's see, what do we got here?
Chug it.
Shake well. That's a good one. Start with a smaller amount, 2 to 5 drops, and increase the amount slowly as you feel comfortable. And that's it. Don't want to overcomplicate stuff, you know what I mean?
What's that now?
You don't want to overcomplicate stuff. Like, it's easy. Put drops in mouth. That's it.
Put drops in mouth.
Pretty much.
Good. So, KTI, are you keeping an eye on everything, making sure that people see things now? Because I got guys giving me a report. I got people saying they see that. And
Yeah, I just chatted with Ryan.
yeah.
And so he's looking at it, and he's trying to figure it out, and we're going to go from there.
But they hear us, but they don't see us.
They hear us.
But they just see this.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm just asking.
What do we look
I
like?
don't know. I know the kid is looking at it, and he's investigating. I was just on the phone with him. That's why I was bugging out.
There you go. That's
So
what I was
I
hoping.
definitely noticed something was up and something was changed, and I was having a hard time pulling up the livestream.com and also on my Adam Dunn show. So
So what's going on? Are we on? Are we live or not?
I think that's the question.
Are we being recorded at least so we can...
We're being recorded, is what I understand. So all this can be reused at some point in time.
Oh God. Tell me now. It says live
So-
right here. I see us. They were live.
Oh,
So
then
I
we're
don't know
good
what
to
you're
go.
talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, then keep it up.
Look, there you are talking to me. Isn't that amazing?
Hey.
Life in 3.
Oh
This is what
my
life will be like for
goodness.
everybody. Soon everyone
Is that the now?
Yeah,
The
so
now?
It's called a delay.
Or the
We're
yesterday
on a delay.
now?
We run a delay.
A delay?
A delay. Like, you're not seeing what's happening now. You're
A
seeing
delay?
Yeah, exactly. You're seeing what just happened. So let me get this. So I get the
delay.
questions too. We got one viewer. This doesn't make sense. How can you get one viewer?
No, that's why I'm thinking.
They can see you now, officially.
Well, Ryan's tinkering with stuff.
Good.
Ryan's got that stuff
Says he
on.
can.
But that's why I saw him, because I was going on there. I was like, oh, I should see what's up with Chat Gang. And I was like, oh, shit.
Why do we have one viewer? I don't get it. What's going on? What's going on, people?
We have a
They heard I
loyal.
was on and nobody really cares.
I think 2 scared everybody away.
Yeah, I didn't even tell anybody, really.
That's what happened. I had more people at 2 o'clock in the morning in Alaska when I wasn't even thinking I was on the air.
That's crazy.
Always like that. Well, let's just continue like we are because we're going to get a phone call in 10 minutes, so let's make sure we're rolling properly at that point.
So, Todd's over there, but let me talk about what he's got going on. This is pretty cool. Todd works a lot with kids who have seizures and stuff.
That's walking rate, what's the name?
It's Raven Medicinals is
Raven
what he's rocking. But if there was a video on the YouTube and all over, like Joe Rogan shared it and Bill Maher shared it.
Right. Oh, yeah, I saw it too. It was awesome.
Yeah, and basically the kid was having he's got Dravet's. It's a horrible seizure condition where your brain will just stop working, and he can have seizures up to like 2 to 5 minutes, and if they last too long, he'll go into like a status where he won't come out of it.
Right.
So within the first 10 seconds of the seizure, the video shows the mom rubbing this on the bottom of his feet, which is actually a very awesome place to apply.
I mean, compared to getting some injection by something because you need it at that moment in time.
The kid's having a seizure, his teeth you can't like put an oral in there, you know?
Yeah.
And within 20 seconds of the application of the oil on the bottom of the feet, the seizures completely stopped. And Todd's been getting a ton of hits because they want to buy this stuff. And so he's offering 2 different bottles. One is if you're local, you can get it complete. And then the other one is called the Jack system, which is just add cannabis. So say you live in a state where it's medicinally friendly, but you can't get, so you would buy the bottle and then add in your own THC, that you buy. So we're not like, shipping.
Yeah, of course. No, of course.
But
it's, I mean, that's the whole thing is it's hard to source CBD for most people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work if it's only CBD. So
Right.
you got to tell people, hey, this is a great base product to work with. Go get some CBD or go get some THC.
I mean, the combination of THC and CBD, even in his mix, is amazing. It really does work real well. This stuff's working great, even though it is mainly just CBD.
And so the one for the kid with the feet was this one. And
That was
do you
that
know
one.
do you know what ratio? Do you know what ratios that's running? Maybe if we could grab. We'll get the ratios and stuff. And then
Here, we'll get him up on here. Come here, bud.
come on up here.
I'm not your pimp.
I got to get some detail. We need some details from you. So, yeah, we're just talking about your product, and we don't want to misquote anything.
This
obviously.
is the actual 1219, and this is the Jack.
No, that's the Raven.
Oh, okay. You want to describe them?
Yeah, just
Get
give
close.
us a, obviously the more I mean, we talked a little bit about the that one right there.
The video and stuff.
Yeah.
The 1219 was made for the kids with a heavy terpene profile, so they get the full entourage effect. So I split it so they get CBDA, CBD, THCA, and THC along with the profile.
Right. So the acid, you get THC acids,
Right.
and what are the ratios?
It's a 1-to-1 that's
Okay.
been split.
It's like a 1-to-1 to 1-to-1 kind of.
Yeah.
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 And then there's all kinds of essential herbs and stuff that we distill. He
And
distills.
There's 6 other essential oils in here, so I stack everything to get the maximum benefit.
And absorbency and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of myrcene in there to make sure that everything's calm.
And this is the one that I developed for pain after I broke my back.
Right. So obviously, way stronger than the one for the kids.
Yeah.
Heavy CBD for sure.
But I mean, it works on him, and I mean, I have a screw from his back at my house, so I mean, he was racked up, and
Right.
Yeah, that stuff is a miracle worker.
How quick is it? How effective and how fast is it?
Between 5 and 10 minutes on the delivery.
Right.
Because in the beginning I used DMSO, and then Colorado made that illegal with cannabis, so I switched to different oils for the delivery mechanism.
And we'll have labels for those real soon, and then they'll be probably being sold. Probably not the THC
I was
one,
gonna say the THC one probably.
but no, anything that's legal to sell, we'll have upstairs, and it'll be like a buy all of it kind of thing.
Buy it all now.
Yeah. I made my whole line with the Jack system, which stands for Just Add Cannabis, so I can send everything legally through the mail, and then you can just add your own fire to it when you get to it.
I like that.
Nice.
That's a good approach because, again, I'd say that to so many people. I was like, look, you can always locally you can source THC. That's not going to be a problem. But and then that's why back with our friends over at Elite, we've been sending people that way with Mary's Medicinals for a long time, and that's been great to hear. Because I mean, it's also cool to hear my family members talking about getting patches, not even asking me, just on their own, figuring it out. Which is like. And like it's, I know how like when things are changed, when like certain people are talking to you about something, you're like, "What? You're okay? Well, now I guess we are progressed somewhere because they definitely wouldn't have been on that path before,
Right.
And no, it's great. And so you're also planning on doing like some more, like obviously local, do some the THC for anybody who comes here locally that actually can't get the right mixture.
We're working on that. That's more of it's more his gig, just to make sure. I mean, he saves people before. That's his thing, So you talk to Todd about your kid and stuff, or the Just Add Cannabis, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Like I said, we'll have labels for all this fun stuff because that's what makes it look really nice.
Is it about the labels? No, it's about what's inside of it. That's the most
No,
important
but
part. That's the most important.
you're not going to buy something that doesn't like attract your eyes. It's not.
Yeah, you get it.
Really.
Plus, you can't put this in a store and be like, "Hey, buy that." There's nothing on it.
No, definitely not yet.
But and then so there were two videos, right? The first one got like 35 million hits and was shared.
Yeah.
And what did the second one get with the kid with the he had the Grand Mall
Yeah, I think that's at a couple thousand right now.
right now. Yeah, that shut down a Grand Mall pretty quick too. That was cool.
Yep.
That's great. Now, what about let's see, really soon, 2 minutes, we're gonna have a caller calling in, which is friend Jeff Ryan Nearson, who's from, like I told you before, your favorite sounding place, Pharmacy Dropout. Sounds like you.
I think that's great. Yeah.
I mean, you're right up that alley.
I was
like,
going with Arm's Length LLC.
Nice
I
one.
thought that was good. Yeah.
And so, obviously, I'm glad that you're on the show because it's good to have people who know a bit more about the subject. Personally, I originally, when I was in Amsterdam and saw people buying it, I just considered it like, oh, it's just somebody trying to make another fake opioid or something.
That's what,
And it kind of didn't turn me on at all because I don't do opiates, so I wasn't interested. And I noticed it was very similar. Like, out of all my friends, there was always one guy who loved it. I love it. You know what I mean? And it was like, you'd be a junkie if you had access to it right now. You know what I mean? But then so I wasn't looking at it from the medicinal side at all.
Right.
I was just looking at it like anybody, like, oh, it's just another one of these smart drug things came out. Because remember the smart shops in Amsterdam, they were just loaded with all sorts of stuff. But it seems to be the one thing out of all those things in those shops that actually has some good medicinal value. And I mean, you have any experience with people?
I've never done Kratom.
You're that kind of guy, though.
I've been doing,
You're a Kratom guy.
I used to do a lot of weird shit, but I've been doing a lot of research into it lately, and it looks like the reason that the FDA is banning it is because the pharmaceutical companies just patented the mechanisms that make it work. So it's obviously being shown to have medicinal effects, and that's why it's made illegal, much like our own favorite plant, you know?
No, and it's so similar, and that's why I want to have him on the show, because for us it's the same old story, just a different plant. And now what I call cannabis is the gateway plant, you know? It's like makes you love other plants more and be empathetic towards them more than any other thing, because like, you know, very few people are growing vegetables and then they're like, hey, I should grow cannabis. It's mostly like, skip everything else, grow cannabis, and then start getting into other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you love cactuses, right?
Yeah, vegetables.
I still got the one from you. It's got the most ridiculous. It's wonky, pretty much, but that's why I like it. Cause it's the wonkiest one. I got it from you. It's like just one with a big extension. That's
nice.
It's not that big.
I've seen some of I've seen cuts off of that come like this big.
Right.
It's pretty interesting.
But in general, I love it too, because it's like now, you know, get to teaching Nick how to grow other vegetables and herbs and stuff at Ace's Garden. But it's interesting because it's so different, and we're so used to the way we grow stuff and the way we do things that it's kind of like when you start to branch out and learn these things, it's then you start to get the bug, you know what I mean? And then from a medicinal side, when I was always thinking like, why are there not more plants like weed that actually get you high? It always, as a kid, I was always like tripping. And now I realize there's a shitload, but we just didn't know, you know. And I was always like, but thinking like, it's weird. There's all these plants around us, you know. Not realizing they probably all had little bits of DMT in them, and I could have, you know, if I knew how to extract that, I could probably was walking around surrounded by it, which you are if you're in a big grassy field or whatever.
They got 2 weeks until Kratom becomes illegal.
That's what they're talking. Yeah.
Buy seeds now.
Well, the seeds, I don't know. That's what I want to talk to them about, the growing side of it, because from what I gather, the young ones don't really work.
You got to get like some ancient cutting.
The alkaloids are the older ones, and that's where it gets, like, you know, they're all from Asia and crazy spots where those jungles are old and they're very specific.
Right.
You know, it's not like, oh, sure, you're going to make Thailand in Colorado, you know what I mean, in any kind of capacity.
Sure.
Greenhouse, yeah, we could do it, but it would be, and it's 40 to 50 years until they're really good. So we're talking like, we're all dead. So, you know, like, great, my stuff.
Let's hope that dude calling in, he actually proves us wrong on that, because that would be kind of cool, just to be able to grow some Kratom.
Well, there might be just, I mean, there's a lot of different types, right?
We could do like alkaloid boosters, some sort of whatever the hell I don't know.
What are you
science.
talking about?
We'll use science to make it work faster.
Yeah, read my shirt.
Yeah.
Read my shirt for.
I mean, we got science.
So I guess Jeff's gonna call in any second. Let's see. Yeah. So the climate doesn't work apparently. I'm getting messages from afar.
The climate here?
Pretty much anywhere right now. So.
The climate to grow it in?
They grow in the sides of the rivers and jungles in like Indonesia and stuff. So imagine trying to recreate that in any kind of capacity beyond maybe if you had a 30,000 square foot greenhouse that you could probably.
Everybody in Ohio that might be listening, you might want to get some Kratom because it's sweltery and jungly there.
But if it's worse, imagine when it's now more illegal than cannabis. How crazy that is, and it takes 40 years to.
I'm sure the average cop doesn't know like what a Kratom plant looks like.
Well, they're gonna get Kratom kits, aren't they?
Oh, jeez.
Did you see that breathalyzer?
I did see
weed?
that came out. Yeah,
that was pretty scary.
Edibles
How come you didn't
too.
get me the news? Did you get me the news? You just because it was me, you figured it didn't work.
We got news, but we skip so much just to two. We gotta get the CBD important stuff. It's Todd. We gotta get to these guys and
but that breathalyzer looked
saving
pretty
lives.
sketchy. It was like detecting people 3 hours ago. I'm like, well, then we're all fucked.
Yeah.
We'll never be able to drive. Like, okay, so you go to the party, you smoke a joint, you wait around for 5 hours, and then you drive home. It's like, are these people out of their minds or what? They obviously haven't.
5 nanograms is horrible. I pee out that much every time at least. Probably hundreds of nanograms actually. But yeah, so we're just this is gonna start going. Like I said, we're gonna have distributor options when you go to the BioLivit site, and that'll offer if you want to buy it, 1 bottle, or if you want to blow your whole city up or your whole state, we're gonna offer discounts and everything to where you can just go and order cases.
We got our caller back. We got Jeff Reinerson on the line.
Hey, Adam.
Can we turn him up so I can hear him better on my thing? I don't know if that's the only problem right now. I don't hear him too loud. How you doing? Just speak up a little bit for me, just because we're trying to get our sound.
Hi, Adam.
Sounding good. There you go.
Hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great.
So our pharmacy dropout. Our
That is awesome, by the way, man. Good call.
See, I knew that name was going to work. I knew it right out of the gate. Tell us a little bit about your company. Tell us, what you're up to.
So Pharmacy Dropout went into business about 1.8 years ago, and we focused on botanicals. I was going to go and get a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences with an emphasis in pharmacognosy, which is now better known as natural medicine. But after moving to go to pharmacy school, I realized this path really wasn't for me, and so I just kind of went into the botanical business.
Sure.
And one of the botanicals we sold was Kratom. And then I started getting dozens and dozens of messages with people telling me, they're trying to tell me I saved their life, or, the last few days of their life they were able to go fishing or something like that with somebody that they love. And overnight, I don't know, but it seems this botanical is helping a lot of people.
Right.
That makes you feel good too when you get those calls from people who are almost dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're watching earlier, but Two is doing CBD products, and it's similar when you give people, CBD and THC, but in general, when you give people cannabis-related products, and you get crazy results that you never would have expected because you don't have that condition yourself, so you just don't know it. But when it happens and it's real, it's like, wow, okay, this is something special. And that's where I feel like the Kratom and cannabis kind of cross over. They have this unique double thing of being, some people's recreational thing, let's say, but at the end of the day, it turns into beneficial.
Hey, listen, can you explain how Kratom works in the brain real quick? I think that a lot of people are kind of curious about that.
For me?
No, generally.
No, just in general, the what it does for he's asking you if you can maybe describe what it does to the body and why it's.
So I got to be careful. I can't make or infer any medical claims.
No.
Because as a vendor, that would be illegal.
I feel you.
I got you.
I don't really know exactly how it works in the brain. There's some speculation it could be a mu-opioid antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not actually an opiate, but it's affecting your opioid receptors, fooling them into thinking that they have opiates in them.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean do you know a lot about the plant itself? Because that's one of the things our show's really about growers and about the plant. So for us, we're always trying that. We're all shepherds of the cannabis plant, and I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Very few of us live in tropical rainforest and have an ability to grow the Kratom plant. But do you know how its life cycle is? How long it takes to mature, or where it grows, etc.? Do you know anything about that?
Unfortunately, I don't. I've been so busy building the industry, 16-hour days and stuff like that. I haven't had a time to fly over there yet. I'm hoping to fly over in about a year.
Yeah, I mean, just the locations,
really immerse myself in it.
Just by the names of the locations where it's, Indonesia. Can you tell us the countries that are most where the best, let's say, the best qualities and the most potent varieties come from?
Well, about 95% of it comes from Indonesia, but there are other places that you can get it from. Some of it comes from Malaysia, but it's illegal to export it that way because it's illegal there. So it would have to be exported to Indonesia first, and then you'd have to get it from Indonesia. there is some talk of there's some from Vietnam. I'm trying to think. There's rumors going around that they may have found some in the Philippines.
Right.
And
So do you
Cambodia.
Yeah, and these are all pretty unique. Areas as far as, I mean, they're all tropical rainforest, basically. I mean, they're not in any way, shape, or form Colorado style, or
no, they're not growing in Colorado, but there is a plantation going on somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
And I heard someone's trying to start one up in Hawaii as well. I don't know how they're going to grow it in Hawaii exactly, but I guess the one in Florida is doing pretty well.
How is that new scheduling going to affect the farms and
Is
stuff?
this your show now? What's going on here?
No, I got questions about this, man. You asked me to
two show all of a
He
sudden.
didn't want to call in with him.
He's like, wait a minute, let me just jump on here. Yeah, before we get to the discussion, we're going through the taxonomy a little bit here. We're trying to give it a background here. So, the use in America, have you got an idea about the background, like, of how much has been used, like, say 10 years ago when people were maybe not as wise to it, and then how much lately, and is that also caused the reason why they're on top of this a little bit more?
Right, it's become a little bit more well known. We're seeing a lot more importation. We have vendors making medical claims. We have people importing it illegally. They're saying it's something else when it's really not, and technically that's smuggling, and so that's hurting the industry. And the feds are cracking down on that, and I could see why. It's bad, and the reason why is because it's really hard to get product in the legal way, because anytime a package gets stopped and they inspect it, they detain it. And if we go to court, these shipments, they get lost or returned back to the sender or something like that. So, you just can't win sometimes.
And when did
you have these other...
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, when they actually started, like, certain states were a little bit more quicker to kind of jump on top of this before it became a federal issue, as it's starting to become. But was there a couple states that actually banned it? Do you know?
Yes, I think there's 5, and I know in a couple of them there was some false information that they used in order to do that. In one of the states, they crossed it off legality-wise by saying it's a synthetic. And in another state, they said it was a hallucinogen, which is ridiculous, because I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, I would say that there's zero that it's not an intoxicant.
Right.
You cannot get high on it. And there are some people who say they get euphoria from it, but that's the funny thing about it. Any of us who've actually experienced really intense euphoria, I don't know. Maybe these people have just felt like crap for so many years that now that they're feeling a bit better and they think it's euphoric. Or I would say it's more along the lines of a sense of well-being, not euphoria. So I don't know why they're coming after this plant.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the problem I think is a lot of the marketing was real heavy. Every time I saw it, you'd think it was really powerful by just the way they packed it or the way that they presented it, and also because people are thinking of opioids, so they're like, yeah. But maybe for some people, that might have been the slip in, which they didn't even know they were going to get, which is a good thing, because maybe they were going for the euphoria effect, and all of a sudden they were like, actually, it's almost like with the methadone or something. Like, even though methadone's a bad way to do it, it doesn't get you high, but it keeps you from getting sick. So maybe if somebody was used to being really sick all the time, and all of a sudden something jumped in there, kind of prevented that technically for even a short amount of time, it's like, for them, like you said, that's pretty much euphoria, right?
Yeah. And the elected officials should be using scientific knowledge before they take something like this away from people, and they don't even know what it is. For instance, Louisiana, you can YouTube one of the videos where they got together, and he didn't even know how to pronounce it, and they tried to ban it during this meeting. He couldn't even pronounce it.
Right.
Well, it is Louisiana.
I mean, that's but no, that's funny. Well, we have Joel's from Louisiana, and then the 2 other kids that work for me from Louisiana, and every single one of them, they said that the store down there would do like 40% of their sales was everyday kratom. Like that's and that's a head shop, and that's a head shop. And they said if they take, I mean, this literally shows you how many people locally are in that kind of situation. And that's like, I'm sure it's and that was in Baton Rouge, and like Baton Rouge needs another kick in the fucking ass right now, like, yeah, guess what, guys, no more Kratom. They're like, what?
Well, I have a question for you. Kratom is the plant, right? So what is the alkaloid that's...
Oh, yeah. Good question for once. Good job.
Thanks.
You're almost a co-host.
I don't know them. I know there's 7-hydroxymetrogenine and there's metrogenine. Those are the two main alkaloids. There's over 20 different active alkaloids in it, though, and I don't know them all.
Interesting.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's a little bit like how, because when we think about cannabis 20 years ago, we were really pretty ignorant compared to what we were thinking. Like, now we're all think we're way more savvy, but at the same time, there's so much more to learn. There's layers and layers, and now we're talking about a plant that's barely been scratched on the surface. It's got a bunch of other alkaloids that could be very beneficial, and I'm sure, because there's probably better varieties, right? I mean, some varieties are more effective than others. Jeff?
Me?
Yeah, I mean, do you know? Have you got? I mean, not from you personal, but maybe like people telling like results or something. There must be certain regions producing higher alkaloid plants, I would assume.
Kratom mids.
Oh, for the Kratom. I don't know if different regions really would be at its growing conditions. You want to make sure it has a steady supply of water, good nutrients in the soil, things like that.
So it's a plant, is what you're saying? I'm just kidding.
Well, yes.
But yeah, I'm just kidding. But
I thought you were inquiring about the geographical location having something to do with the alkaloid content.
That could be, depending on the microbes in the soil and stuff.
I'm getting reports of slight differences of alkaloids depending on that. Exactly.
Yeah, depending on what's in the soil and the amount of light that it gets and the crazy spectrum of light, I'm sure it would.
And now, do you think there's any connection between them banning in certain? Did they ban the shipment? When did they start banning like importation of it, or did they already or not?
They didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't ban it. That's just it.
Okay, so it's still
you can still import it. They just detain it.
And so have they
forever?
I got you. So basically, they're just doing the classic and stashing it so that they can be the big Kratom dealers soon.
Well, I mean, the pharmaceutical companies will pick it apart, take all the alkaloids, turn them into single chemicals, and feed them back to you through your doctor later in life.
And apparently that is happening.
Yeah.
So I guess they took a patent out on 2 of the alkaloids. Yeah.
Well, that's why it got made.
Something like that.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Whoa. That is usually when the FDA and the DEA get involved, that's usually, and they start scheduling things into non-medical, then you can guarantee it's a lot of medical value right there, and that's why they're going for it, because otherwise they leave it open for research still at that point. What do you think if they're gonna? What do you think about the? Is this 100% like lock sealed up, or is this going to be a situation where
No. I know people, and I know things that most people don't, and we're doing a really good job of this. There's a really good chance that this is going to.
Hello there. Who we got on the air?
Hi, this is Susan Ash.
Hey, Susan. Great, you could jump in.
Hi.
I got Jeff on the line. I got Jeff on the line too. So it's a.
Sorry about that, Jeff. We had another call real quick.
Yeah, Jeff, we just added somebody.
He brought that caller on, so it's all good.
Oh, okay.
We're one big happy family now.
Sweet.
So I got both of you on the line, and then you got me, and I've got in studio my friend Tu, who's doing CBD products. And so we were doing the show with him originally, and it all fit real well. So anything ethnobotanical medicine is all good,
Okay.
So I guess we were talking to Jeff, but I think you can probably fill us in a lot more too, because you're on the scientific side of it, I assume, right? From what it sounds like.
Well, I'm familiar with the scientific side of things just because I have a master's degree in science, but I'm not the expert. What I'm the expert in right now is that I am the founder and director of the American Kratom Association, and we're a grassroots consumer organization that is trying to fight this decision.
Okay, well that's also, that's
DEA.
Like you're literally taking on a fight that well, we're not over with, but we were sort of winning at this
we're
point.
Not
Yeah.
over with,
We're not never over, right? But yeah, it's so
Exactly.
so weird to watch the dynamics of it because again, you see ignorance from the higher ups, not even understanding what they're talking about, like as far as the benefits, and then of course once it happens to their family member or somebody close to them, then all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, this is
Exactly.
No.
And the DEA themselves, their spokesperson is now saying, oh, whoops, we didn't realize that so many people were using this product medicinally. Maybe we shouldn't have, done this emergency type of action. Maybe we can schedule it at another schedule, but that's still not acceptable to us because we believe it's a dietary supplement that should be available to any responsible adult who wishes to use it.
Like a 5-HTP or like a SAMI kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's in the coffee family. It's straight from the coffee family. It comes from Southeast Asia. It's been used for hundreds, probably thousands of years. In fact, Buddhists used to use the Kratom beverage in ceremonial situations, and it's been used traditionally by Thai laborers and others in Indonesia as just a little bit of a pick-me-up, but also it has a large variety of other uses, and one is that it actually does help wean people off of opioids. And in the nation having the largest opioid epidemic in history, they are trying to make this, which is helping people get off of opiates, a Schedule I controlled substance, which means the highest level of abuse and no medicinal value. It's very hard to abuse Kratom.
Yeah, like today was funny. I just coincidentally, this got slipped under my door at the shop, and it's a movie called Chasing the Dragon: The Life of an Opiate Addict, and it says in support of National Opioid Abuse Prevention Week, which is basically September 19th through the 23rd. So I'm like, right before, like they can recognize, that it's a majorly needed thing, but yet not understand that that's going to be the help all these people tremendously. And it's kind of like ayahuasca. Sorry, not ayahuasca, but ibogaine was like that kind of a drug too, where people.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty hard.
I mean, it's not similar. It's not similar in that sense, but it's one of those things where it's like
exactly.
Some people went for fun, and it definitely wasn't fun. But at the end, they were like, "Whoa, wait a minute! Now I don't have." It's blocked those
opiate,
and alcohol, and a few things that never shouldn't even do, right? But at the same time, you have to be really dedicated if you want to go in that route. That's not a simple.
Yes,
it's a little different.
Exactly. I mean, you're talking about something that's more similar to, where you take it and you vomit and you
exactly.
see the meaning
It's
of
a
life.
hardcore
Oh yeah,
psychedelic.
you meet your grandparents, and they tell you, or your
Yeah,
great grandparents, and they tell you what's up.
There's no doubt that has helped people, but here we have a relatively benign plant that does not make you hallucinate or puke unless you take too much. And that's also sort of the beauty of the plant, is that it has a mechanism built in that you really can't overdose on it. There have been not one single case of an overdose straight from Kratom, because you will throw up first. And it's also unique in that it not only, and I hate to use this comparison, I really probably should stop, but it's an easier way for people to understand the issue. The drug Suboxone that is out there, that is prescribed for opiate addicts as a maintenance type therapy, in itself is an opiate. But one thing that's successful about people getting off of opiates and using Suboxone is that it both activates those. It's a partial mu opiate receptor activist. So the mu receptor in your brain is the primary receptor that opiates react to. But it also, like Suboxone, it also has the ability to block the other two opiate receptors, which are at the kappa and the delta portions of the brain, the receptors there. So the more you take, you can't, just like Suboxone, I mean, some people can have figured out how to abuse Suboxone, obviously.
They'll always figure something out.
Of course. But the more you take, the more Kratom you take, you can't get a stronger and stronger feeling, because you've got this activating opiate receptors but blocking them at the same time. So it's not like people, and you mentioned that movie, Chasing the Dragon, I mean, people, you really can't chase a high using Kratom. And that's one of the largest things that's exaggerated in the press, is that people are saying that, oh, I took it and it's like hydrocodone or oxycodone, and these are largely people who, one, have never had an opiate experience in their life,
Sure.
Or two, they're combining Kratom with some other substance, or three, they might be getting a product that has some kind of, a natural thing added to it without knowing it.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people
I've-
confused Kratom with all spice products and things like that too.
Yeah,
because
it can-
Yes.
the timing was about the same. There's all these products on the shelf, and some guys just import a couple pounds, break it down into stupid packs that look like they're really exciting and they're going to do something, and then people are buying it, kind of bummed out that it didn't do what they thought it was going to do, and then I bet a few of them are like already opiate addicts and we're like, hey, I actually did something weird, you know what I mean? Like, it might have worked.
Right.
But in the most part,
Right.
it's just like it was a lot of marketing, which kind of sucks because if it's people who aren't
That's
used,
the marketing is why we're here right now. in
yeah,
fact.
like
The
nobody was.
marketing in
I
the
never
past-
saw it marketed. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's the other interesting thing is we're in a weird world when we talk about medicine because we're not supposed to talk about medicine. Right?
Yeah, you can't
None of
market
us-
it as such.
We're not doctors and we're not allowed to talk about it like that. So even with CBD products and all these, anything that has any kind of medicinal value, you can't really say has medicinal value. So it is
Exactly.
it's a little weird, you know what I mean? So nothing's been presented the way it should maybe have been presented.
Yes, and as a consumer group, we're allowed to talk about some of the issues that this helps with medicinally. I mean, I've been disabled for about 4 years due to a case of Lyme disease that went undiagnosed for 3 years, and it wreaked havoc on my body. It turned into an autoimmune disorder. It caused chronic pain that I will never get rid of for the rest of my life. But in the meantime, those 3 years that we didn't know what it was,
Right.
doctors were telling me it was fibromyalgia, and they were giving me huge doses of narcotics and just basically telling me to go away. We can't figure out what's wrong with you, so here's all the narcotics you could possibly need for the rest of your life. And then when I finally found out it was Lyme disease, I was addicted to narcotics, and I wound up.
Where do you live? You live on the East Coast, or?
I live on the East Coast, but most of my work, I have a master's degree in forestry, and most of my work was done out west and in the Midwest. So I was in the forest all the time. I got tick bites all the time, which
Sure.
is how you get Lyme disease, and not one doctor out of 12 thought to test me for
Right.
Lyme disease.
It's
So
crazy
by
how
the
that
time
happens,
we found
right?
out So by the time we found out what I had, 2010 is when I got my diagnosis, and to the end of 2011, I was in a 45-day inpatient rehab program.
Wow.
So I am one of the very people that chose this plant as a natural, safer alternative to something like Suboxone. When I was released from that facility, they had me on Suboxone for 8 months. And I just couldn't, I found myself just falling into the same patterns and abusing the Suboxone. So about 2.5 years ago is when I decided to try using it daily. And the impact on my life has been phenomenal. I mean, truly phenomenal. It's taken me from a basically homebound and bedbound existence to running this whole organization and running across the country and trying to prevent state-level bans and now working this issue with the DEA. So it was life-changing. Within a matter of 2 weeks, I had the energy and pain relief that I hadn't had for years.
That's crazy, yeah. And so where does the next part of this fight go for you?
For us, we have a 4-pronged strategy. Of course, we've got the grassroots. We just had, we've gotten well over 120,000 signatures on a petition to the White House, and once you pass 100,000, you automatically get a response from the White House. Now, the only problem is the DEA has said this was going to be a 30-day thing, and the White House has 60 days to respond. But still, at least it's getting up there, attention there. We also had a march on Washington, D.C. on September 13th where several hundred people came out and rallied to keep Kratom legal, which was just amazing to see all of the people out there. We had senior citizens, we had moms with their children, we had people in wheelchairs, the kinds of people that
They weren't expecting, basically.
Exactly. The
like,
press
huh.
is making us out to be a bunch of, 20-somethings looking for a legal high. That's not who we are.
Exactly.
So the grassroots, and then we also have a lobbying effort underway with a lobbyist, and we just today got the final version of a Dear Colleague letter, and I don't know how many people know how Congress works, but I'll just very briefly. What happens is a bipartisan. It's usually a bipartisan effort. So we have Congressman Pocan from Wisconsin and Congressman Salmon from Arizona. Well, they will write a letter to their colleagues asking them to take certain action. And the more Congress people sign on to it, the more impact it has on the DEA. So they've basically put this letter together asking them to slow down the process altogether, to not make it be an emergency scheduling, to allow for public comment.
They got so many other emergencies they should be jumping on. I mean, there's
there's a heroin epidemic in the Midwest that is killing people to death.
There's real problems.
Right.
Real problems. You know what
right.
I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like...
Hold on, I'll take care of that.
So the final two prongs quickly are legal. We do have a law firm that's writing to the DEA, and we have in our toolkit that we're going to use a temporary restraining order. We're going to file a temporary restraining order should this go into effect. And then we have a PR firm and a PR strategy that we're doing. So we're working every angle we possibly can. The problem is this is a several $100,000 campaign, and we're just a tiny little, grassroots organization that I started myself in 2015.
Yeah, let's.
So,
we'll obviously put it up on at the show too. But we might as well say give a couple of angles how people can get help you guys, and then we'll. At the end, like I say, we'll definitely during the wrap up. We'll do
sure, yeah. Our website is where you can find out all this information and make a donation is just www.americankratom.org, and that's KRATOM. We're really active on Facebook, so we welcome people to join our Facebook group because there's a lot of things that we can't put on our website because it's strategic, internal strategic kind of discussion that we don't want the DEA and other people to see. Sure. So we have a group on Facebook that has about 7,000 members, and that's where we post daily things that people can do. And we also have a like page on Facebook that has about 18,000 followers, and then we're on Twitter and Instagram. So people can follow us all there, and we can give you that kind of information. But we're in major fundraising mode right now because it's the only way
if it actually happens, and we hope it doesn't, obviously, they're talking like 2 weeks, right? I mean, or is it 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And looking at the history of the DEA doing emergency schedules, usually they say they're going to do it in 30 days, and there's sometimes about a 2-week lag in time, so we're not exactly sure it's going to happen on that day.
Yeah.
And we've even heard from some people, some of our members who have called the DEA themselves, who have said, look, it's September 30th is not really set in stone. But we have to be prepared that it is.
Sure.
Do you think that the pharmaceutical industry patenting the alkaloid content within the kratom is causing the DEA to put the kibosh on it?
I have a couple of different perspectives on that. One is that even though they've tried to patent it, I don't think they've been successful yet at creating a drug. Definitely Big Pharma is behind this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
What I think is happening more is that because the drug rehab industry is becoming one of the largest industries in the United States aside from the pharmaceutical industry.
The Narcan suppliers are trying to,
Yeah, I think they've both come together to say, this is a cheap plant alternative to the drugs we're prescribing. Sure. And this is also something, the abstinence-based recovery programs, which have absolutely abysmal success rates, are opposed to using kratom because they don't think you should use anything psychoactive. Right. So I think it's a combination of the two. I think the pharmaceutical industry in with the rehab and recovery industry are the ones that are really, getting the DEA to bring their hammer down on us. The DEA had no idea what was coming when they did this. I mean, they had no idea we were going to get that many signatures in a period of 9 days, that we were going to have several hundred people show up and protest, that we would have thousands of people calling them, writing their congressmen, and they literally didn't know what. I mean, they still are having a hard time figuring out what hit them, and what hit them was a group of kratom advocates and activists that have literally had their lives changed by this plant with really no significant side effects. The very most important one being that kratom does not cause respiratory depression. And when you're talking about opioid overdoses, that's the leading cause of death because opiates can stop you from breathing. Kratom does not do that.
Yeah, and it's like with cannabis, there's just certain things it can't do. You know what I mean? It can't cross the blood-brain barrier without being unless you're.
Yeah, we're fighting very parallel battles, I believe. You know, between cannabis and kratom. It sounds like basically the same fight. They just don't want you using natural medicine.
The problem is that you can't. It's unfortunate that they don't understand what there's a thing called science, and that you can't get around that. Like you should actually look into it. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
and that's the issue. That's what's addressed in this congressional letter as well. Is
like, come on,
you
guys.
don't even have the science together, and the science that is out there so far. I mean, the NIH, the National Institute of Health, even funded a program at Ole Miss to study this for its medicinal use. And then the DEA, another federal agency, is saying there is none.
Yeah.
Well, then why did the National Institute of Health give you a grant? You know, give the university a grant to study it for its medicinal properties?
Because the DEA
it just makes no sense.
The DEA is in the pockets of big
it makes
pharma.
dollars, not cents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
it's failed drug policy.
The more you find out, the more you're just in shock sometimes. So, like, you know, we have the slap in the face of with cannabis of them saying it's not got any medical value, yet they're patented. You know, they patented the use in cancer research.
Marinol, which
exactly.
but
and that was in the 70s. That was in the 70s. I mean, they already figured it out back then. And you know, the reason it was not effective is because they only extracted THC and they didn't realize that all the other components were what you needed. And so, it's a classic example of you know, doing single molecule research, but not. It's very rarely has anything work with a single molecule. It's always entourage effects with everything. You know, that's how it works for every single thing out there.
Right, and just like we've seen, you know, overdose deaths decline by 25% in some of the states that have made marijuana legal. I believe that the opposite thing is going to happen. I think that I know that should this become a Schedule I controlled substance, we are going to see an even larger increase in the number of deaths due to opioids, because all of the people that I talk to and all of our members are saying they're going to have no choice. They're either going to have to go back to opiates either by prescription or illicitly, and they're terrified for their lives because they finally got to a place in life where they feel like they're, me in particular, where I feel like I'm a productive member of society thanks to this herb, which is very benign, which I've never had any side effects from. And we're lost. We're terrified. This is the one thing, the one alternative, especially for veterans, which is really interesting.
Oh yeah, that's something.
We have a large number of veterans.
Yeah, and that's another one of those classics too. It's like the PTSD with cannabis, and then for opioid, because how many guys, combination of either got on dope over there, or came back and got hurt, you know, just from pain management of American just shoving
opiates
and PTSD.
And then add on top of that the PTSD of just the war itself, and then all the combinations of it's like, come on, guys, we've literally got two of the most safest things in the world that probably between the two of them would take care of about 90% of their vets out there, because they're all literally pigeonholed into this category of opioid and and also pain and memories they want to get rid of. And I was like, well, cannabis is the greatest memory eraser in the world. Like, perfect. There you go. That's
right.
And then you combine that with kratom being perfect for the opioid side of it all. It's like, come on.
So
it's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
You could literally start a whole rehab center on just that alone. You know.
So would you say the
dab rehab,
the quantity of kratom in the United States is about to drop considerably, and now would be the time to buy a bunch of it if you
definitely. I can't really make that kind of recommendation because that would mean I'm asking people
to. No, of course you would never say
I mean,
that,
right now it's legal, but
probably a good time to buy it though.
Double down.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to buy
What does it cost for a pound of kratom, actually, dude? You have any ideas?
Like the EpiPens,
you know, right now, so there are some people out there that are trying to take advantage of this.
Course.
Some people that of course, that are raising their prices ridiculously high.
I'm sure.
But you're talking about right now, you can buy a kilo of kratom out there right now for about $75 to $100, and a kilo is going to last someone a long
how many doses are in that?
That's a good question. And I used to know this off the top of my head, but of course not right now. But there are something like 16 ounces.
There's 1,000 grams in a kilo.
So 1,000 grams in a kilo, and I think that's right. And one dose is about 3 to 5 grams.
Okay, so we're talking about it's about a year's worth, basically, let's say. If it was 3 grams a day.
So if you're taking
that's
it once a day at the 3 to 5 gram level, it's cheap.
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure
a cheap alternative.
Have you noticed like a time frame, like say?
So yeah, imagine comparing $100 a year compared to
a 10,000
any pharmaceutical program you're gonna get stuck on. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, what? How much?
So let's just say, like somebody I know has a horrible heroin addiction, and we decide to get him on Kratom. What do you see? How quickly does that start to manifest that they don't do the heroin, and like if you had to pick
immediately.
So like
immediately, because
wow.
Once you start experiencing withdrawal symptoms and you take the Kratom, for most people, it eliminates the worst of withdrawals. For me, I have used Kratom many times to get off of hardcore opiates, and I have been able to eliminate withdrawal symptoms altogether. For some who have a higher, I've never done heroin, so for some who have a much higher tolerance due to heroin, they're still going to have some discomfort, but nothing like the RLS and the pain and the sleepless nights and things like that. Those types of things go away pretty fairly immediately once you're in withdrawals and you take Kratom. It basically makes them more manageable.
You don't even need like a year's supply. I mean, unless because it's an active.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. If you're just using it to get off opiates, no, certainly not. But there are people like me, tens of thousands of people like me in my organization that use this product like it's my pain medicine. So I take it 2 to 3 times a day.
And it's like 185. It's $185 for a good quality kilo. Something
nice.
Yeah, and the prices are coming down now. A lot of companies are bringing their prices down because a lot of the larger companies obviously have a huge stock to get rid of. So, do some careful shopping. We always tell people to, if you're interested in getting in Kratom, you want to go to a message board or someplace on the web where people are talking about where to buy Kratom. There's a Facebook group that's called Kratom New and Current Users that has a list of vetted vendors that are safe to buy from, because there are still some people out there that are not selling totally pure
some
Kratom.
bunk stuff.
So it's a good idea to visit some of these forums. There's one that's called I Love Kratom that can point you in a direction of making sure that you're buying a safe product. And that's one of our responsibilities as well. As a consumer-based organization, our responsibility is to let people know, where to buy from, although we can't really name company names because then it would be endorsements. But we lead people to the place where they can find trusted companies to buy.
Have you seen lab reports from different alkaloid contents within the plant? And the Kratom that you see is it looks like a brownie tar kind of stuff. Is that the raw oil? And can it be further?
The brownie tar kind of stuff is actual resin that's been made from a water extraction process. And then there is the brown dark powder that's an extract that's made from an alcohol extraction process. What Kratom looks like is a slightly green powder, and it varies in color because there's 3 different types of strains that people use for different issues. There's red, green, and yellow, and that just means the color of the
don't stop going yield
everything.
Yeah, so it's a dark green powder that looks just like maca tea.
Like a green tea powder, yeah.
Sure.
Yes, and depending on the company, it's either as fine as powder or flour, which is the kind that I prefer, or it can be a little rough.
So you get flour versions of the Kratom? Is that what you're saying?
They will powder it.
Oh, powder. I'm sorry.
So finely. Yeah, they will powder it down so finely that it's like flour. That it looks like flour.
Okay, I gotcha.
So what we're consuming when we buy Kratom is actually dried up leaves that have been turned into powder. So it's the straight leaves turned into powder. And there are, not only when we're talking about the opioid aspect, but we're talking about people that are using these 3 different strains in various different ways to combat anxiety, depression, fatigue, PTSD, which we talked about before. The opioid addiction part, of course. There's been a study done that has shown that this has anti-cancer, cancer-fighting properties. It has anti-inflammatory. It has antibiotic properties and antioxidant. It's kind of a miracle plant.
Have you seen further extractions, like from the base to, like, say, how we're doing isolates and distillates out here with the cannabis? Have you seen kratom extractions to a point where they're cleaner with less plant matter located in them?
That was kind of a new, this whole extraction thing, turning things into resin and other things, kind of coming along as new. I mean, like, I'm sitting here looking at what looks like literally a black rock of tar.
Right.
And this is kratom resin.
Okay.
But with the
so that'll really get
everything.
opioid guys who are real hard drug users off quick, because they'll be like, yeah, I get to
got that kratom.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, unlike the extracted medical marijuana and marijuana and whatnot, you cannot smoke this.
No.
You will destroy the alkaloid content.
Sure.
So that's
I'm just saying more for the feeling and looking at it and going, yeah, no, that's what I like.
Kratom shards.
Yeah. Yeah, so I only use the extracted when I'm having very severe pain days, and I literally just like break off. It does look like volcanic ash. I literally just break off like a Tic Tac size, and will use it with my regular kratom if I'm having an extremely bad day with pain.
Interesting.
But I don't even know what I'm going to do myself when all of this happens. The reason why I started this organization in the first place is because I discovered kratom in 2010, and I was in active addiction, and it helped me through withdrawals many times. But then when I finally made the decision that I didn't want to be on Suboxone or opiates anymore, I was living in the state of Tennessee, which was one of the first states that made kratom illegal. And so I wanted to become an activist. I mean, this gave me my life back. So I moved out of Tennessee to Virginia, getting ready to move to Portland, Oregon to continue this work, just to start this organization, because I was living in an illegal state and I needed a change. I could not be on narcotics anymore. So I have no idea, no clue what I'm going to do.
There's hundreds of thousands of people like that.
Hundreds of thousands. We estimate there are probably 3 to 5 million kratom consumers in the United States right now. And that's another issue that has been raised. When in the DEA announcement, they did 2 things that were very tricky, sneaky. One, the DEA came out with this 22-page notice that they put in the Federal Register, giving their notice of intent to emergency schedule this, and they called it an opioid, when they know full well, this is the DEA, okay? They know full well this is not an opioid, but they wrote that in there purposefully so that all the Congress people who are dealing with opioid epidemics in their states would say, oh my gosh, another opioid, then definitely this needs to be emergency scheduled. It's not an opioid. By the definition of opioid, it is not. It simply activates some opiate receptors. And the other thing that they did is they claim this is an emergent public health threat because get this, 660 calls in 5 years went into poison control centers from people complaining they were having adverse reactions to kratom. So think about that, 660 calls out of 3 to 4 million that poison control centers get each year. And the CDC says that 660 calls over a 5-year period is an emerging public health threat. Yeah. With the number of kratom consumers growing every year, that number should have been in the tens of thousands if this truly was a public health threat. Well, so they're sneaky about how they
went around about it. I think the hand sanitizer was probably worse of a thing than that, with the kids drinking that stuff.
I mean,
that's a lot worse.
I moved on it from Akron and Cleveland area, and if you look at what's going on there, there's a serious heroin epidemic that's cut with like carafentanyl, and people are just falling off. Sometimes they come in for that Narcan like 2 or 3 times a day. You know, so I mean, this could definitely
mixed with
benefit.
elephant tranquilizer, and I mean, yeah, it's crazy out there right now. And we know the reason that most people turn to heroin and whatnot in the first place is because they started with prescription opiates. It's terrifying.
America's in a bad state right now when it comes to
Drug addiction
because when I was a kid, I kind of thought that I was like, no, all the good drugs are gone, and I'm like, no, they didn't even start yet as far as they were concerned.
We need to find like the kratom for meth. You know what I mean? Like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Actually, no. There have been some studies. There have been some studies in Thailand that have shown that kratom has successfully weaned people off of meth.
They have a horrible speed problem there too. The kids are.
So, right. And Thailand's interesting because it's actually illegal there. But the reason why it's illegal there, and it was made illegal there in the 1940s, is that it was eating into the country's opium tax revenue because people were using this, one, as an alternative, and two, to get off of opiates. So they made it illegal because they weren't getting the tax kind of money that they needed. Now, there is a movement underway to legalize it in Thailand as well as in Malaysia, but who knows what's going to happen now?
Probably not a good time right now. When he's killing all the drug dealers.
When you sell drugs to keep you hooked, the last thing you want is somebody to have drugs to make them not hooked.
Right. It's tough sell.
Exactly. So, yeah, and then my heart goes out to all of the people that are contacting me every day with their stories, just desperate, not knowing what they're going to do. Literally, I mean, people with cancer who only used kratom for their cancer treatment pain, people with multiple sclerosis. It's the only thing that's worked for them. I mean, these are tragic stories of people finally getting their lives back, and it's been available for so many hundreds of years. If it truly were unsafe, we would see a lot of deaths, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, except for the fact that the government wants to take away our freedoms. It's money and personal freedom and liberty. They don't like us to have our personal freedom and liberty to choose what goes in our bodies.
Well, it's not that they can't tax you to eat some herbs. They can tax you at the pharmacy to buy a $500 prescription of opiates, but they can't, keep you from growing your own medicine.
No, and that's like the big push in America too. It's like anything to keep you from being self-sufficient in any way, shape, or form without having to be reliant on them. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't collect rainwater and I can't do this.
We can now.
I know we can.
Yeah, the poor guy in Oregon who couldn't collect his rainwater. Come on.
I mean, like simple things like that. You're just like, wait a minute, have we lost our minds?
A cherry farmer in Ohio had to dump like 40 tons of cherries because it would have screwed up certain international trade things. He had to dump his whole crop this year just because it would have screwed up something internationally.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid.
So much waste and so much control over people.
Bureaucracy.
And again, you said it. And we are just. It's been a long day. I have to say that with this have come many, 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 many press requests. So today I think this is my 5th interview.
Wow. Yeah, no,
and it's been like that ever since. I mean, I got Vice and Huffington Post and the Washington Post
New York
and the New York Times, and so it's just all, Well,
I'm glad you could. We're glad that you could actually have time for us. I know you got another call. I know you got another call coming in about another half hour or so. So I want to.
Is Jeff still on? Jeff, you there?
No, Jeff jumped off.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, he's there.
Oh, cool, man.
I
was wondering, man. Like, thanks for hanging in there.
You could have jumped in at any time. You know that.
You're doing a great job, Susan. Thank you.
He already said she's got a better voice than me. I was like, nah, it's okay. So
I just knew you'd kill it.
No, you definitely. And give us another round of how they can get to help you out, how they can get in touch with you, how they can follow what you're doing.
Our website is www.americankratom.org, and to get in touch with us, there's a contact page, and that's where we take donations. And then we have a Facebook group that has about 7,000 very active members. I think that's how Jeff and I know each other, is from Facebook, and it's a closed group, so you have to send a a request to join, and it's just called American Kratom Association. And again, the way you spell Kratom is Kratom. And then we have a like page on Facebook as well, our business page, which we try to update as often as possible. But again, I'll stress that when going on our website, it seems a little generic and there isn't a whole lot of information there, because what we're doing right now is high strategy type political maneuvering that we just can't put all over our website because we don't want the DEA to see
just like me selling CBDs. It's you can't really go around telling everybody how it's helping them, because then you're making medical claims and then they'll come shut you down because you're saying that it's going to do this and going to do this, and it hasn't been approved by the FDA. While it is beautiful medicine and it helps people, you still can't be out there making medical claims.
There it is.
Right,
Straight from
and
the
that's
horse's mouth.
part of why. Excuse me. That's part of why I started this group of consumers, because as consumers we can you know we don't sell anything, so we can tell people how this has worked for us. If you're a vendor, if you're someone that sells kratom, you absolutely cannot. You're breaking major laws.
It was like selling bongs back in the day. You had to say they were
water pipes, dude.
Exactly, water pipes for tobacco. You're like, okay, sure, buddy.
I went to a head shop back home in Ohio, and it said, if you're not don't say the B word if it rhymes with a gong. This is a water pipe. Are you serious? We're still in the draconian ages of smoking paraphernalia.
Yeah, don't say
Drinks now, right? You know.
Cool. Well, we gotta do some shout outs for our sponsors. We actually should have done it earlier, but I like to just let it roll.
I personally want to thank her for coming on, and Jeff too. I learned a lot, and I'm going to source out my own bunch and see what. Because I have some people that probably need it, and I want to see if I can help them. So,
I mean, like I said,
that
definitely.
would be amazing.
If you're giving people CBD products, it's good to have the Kratom on.
And apparently, it's time to buy now because they're not going to
buy it.
Yes, it is.
Hey, real quick, do you have information on the plants? Like we were just talking about how it takes 20 or to 50 years to be able to get a plant with an alkaloid level up to a positive % where that would be extractable. And
That's actually not true. We actually have on our board. We have a board member who started a grove of kratom trees just a few years ago, and they've grown up to 20, 30 feet tall, and he says the alkaloid content is just like what would be with kratom coming from the leaf. It's just a matter of a couple of years.
So that means like maybe 3 years, 2-3 years.
But now he's under the same offense as growing any other illicit Schedule 1 drug, right?
I guess in 2 weeks he is, right?
Yeah, right.
That's probably better cut those bad boys down.
I can't say his name, or I can't say
no,
his name
that's
or
fine.
where he lives, but
No.
exactly, yeah. But I think the plants they don't actually take the 2 to 3 years. I think if you buy a plant and you're able to cultivate it in the right environment, which of course have to be subtropical, you can get effects pretty soon. I mean, within probably about a year, you can get the effects. Maybe sooner. Some people claim sooner. I've chewed on a kratom leaf from a baby plant, and I didn't feel a thing. But that was just one leaf from a baby plant. So.
Alkaloids in many plants take a long time to. Once the plant starts to mature, they become more.
It'd be interesting to find out how old they can get, though, because I'm sure the alkaloids change just like with cannabis. We have totally different. Sort of makeups when they're young. You get CBG. And
they can grow decades and decades and decades. They can become sort of akin to old growth.
Yeah, that's interesting because I wonder what different kind of how the effects.
When they grow it, is the main alkaloid contained in the leaf, the bark, the root bark?
It is. It's in the leaf. It's in the leaf itself. And that's why they crush and powder up the leaf, and that's how we ingest it. And there are many different ways to ingest it. One is, taking the straight powder in a spoon and chasing it with liquid. Another is to put it in capsules and take it in capsules. And then there are all kinds of people out there that use it in the traditional method, which is as tea. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking about something in the coffee family. We're talking about something that's a tea that's been used for centuries. And the DEA wants to make a tea. Imagine if they were trying to do this with coffee right now.
Or ginseng.
Because coffee needs...
I almost can.
Right,
That's
well,
the crazy part. I can almost imagine it. It's getting
next.
so crazy. Ginseng, definitely.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Coffee, the way that they're using their argument right now, and the way that they're writing, coffee falls into and under everything that they're saying about kratom. And therefore, it should be a scheduled drug, according to their rationale. imagine what that would do to the United States. So
Yeah, you cut down the
no one
coffee.
wants to
Slow
imagine
way
that.
down.
That'd be terrible.
Exactly.
And tea would fall into that too, like black tea, green tea, all that stuff, because it's an adulterant. It gets you moving.
Yes. So good thing that coffee has been around so long. The main reason why, and I can summarize this, the main reason why we're dealing with this with Kratom is because actually a movement by the DEA to make kava kava a Schedule 1, a controlled substance. I'm not sure if
I knew that would be
Schedule
the
1.
next one.
Happened.
The Hawaiians
Yeah,
are
it
going
happened
crazy.
back in the 90s, and they tried to make it illegal. Kava kava, just kava kava.
Isn't that
but,
just caffeine?
you know, it's a relaxant. It's a relaxing beverage from places like Fiji. It's a traditional type beverage, ceremonial type beverage. It's relaxing. It's nice for an alcohol alternative because it tends to be a social lubricant, but it's not like alcohol and you don't get a hangover or blah, blah, blah. But this happened in the 90s where they tried to do this to kava kava, and there was a movement, and people protested on Capitol Hill just like we did at the White House, and they made a law called the DSHEA law, DSHEA, and I won't even get into what that's called, but what it did was it made it legal for anything that was in the United States being consumed prior to October 15th, 1994. It grandfathered everything in as legal supplements. So that's how Kava Kava got.
So just the fact that
remained
Kratom has
illegal
come
here.
up in the last couple of years is barred.
We don't have the proof. Yep, we don't have the proof that it was here in the United States and was being consumed and sold for consumption prior to October 15th, 1994. And if anyone out there listening has any private investigative skills, knows Thailand cultures that used to live, in the United States or have Thai family members or Southeast Asian family members who we know they were consuming this plant in the United States. We're looking for that kind of information because we wouldn't be here now if we had
It's
that.
silent
We're
tobacco.
able to
I will personally go to every Thai restaurant and have a little Thai lunch and check for you. No, 'cause
It's
I love
sad-
Thai food, so I'll be like, hey, you guys, you know what's up.
It's sad when tobacco is like ruling the country and alcohol, and they're both like poisonous and highly dangerous, and then the ones we're trying to get in that are like helping people are just totally ignored or banned or
or they figure like the light bulb comes across. But, oh, wait a minute, this stuff actually works.
We can make money off it.
Ban it, instantly. So
ban it. It works. Ban it.
Right?
It's helping opiate addicts. Ban it.
It's the same with cannabis. It's
We
like
want
wait a minute,
everybody to stay addicted to opiates. We
Sure.
want everybody to stay addicted to methadone.
Don't mess
and
with my
Suboxone.
don't
We
mess
want
with my
everyone to
profits.
stay
Is
addicted
what
to their
it's about.
doctors.
It's the bottom line.
It's the man saying basically telling you not to mess with his profits is what it comes
It's
down
like we're
to.
owned by the pharmaceutical companies, so therefore you can only do their drugs.
Yeah, and well, we're
Yep.
gonna definitely put the word out for you, and
Thank you.
And I believe
Very
that,
much appreciated.
And before the show, we actually got a request from way before this even got planned. There was other people already hitting us up, so it's out there. It's like definitely our listener base was already telling us, hey, raise the flag because this stuff's about to happen. So, and we're down to help anybody avoid what we've been dealing with forever. You know what I mean? We never even had a chance. We're barely creeping out of
in a minute, like if you get caught with Kratom in like a month, you can go to jail.
I don't think so.
Yes, it's a felony.
Yeah.
Felony.
Wow.
We will be felons.
That's
so possession will be felon everything. Transportation.
Tim Martin would say that's farked up, man.
Distribution.
Yeah.
Yep. Possession, sale, and distribution will all be felonies.
Nuts.
And, I'm just a girl. I'm in my mid-40s. I have a master's degree in forestry. I had a long career prior to getting sick from Lyme disease who found this alternative, and they're trying to turn me into a felon. And there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people out there
I believe hundreds
in
of
my
thousands.
situation that are like me.
That's what I'm hearing, hundreds of thousands. So, well, good.
Definitely hundreds of thousands.
We'll definitely, like I said, we'll keep the fight going, and we'll follow up on you soon.
Hey, thank you for all this information. Honestly,
2 weeks is not long.
Absolutely. Good show, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks a bunch. I'm going to hang up. Have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, thanks for hanging in there the whole time.
Jeff, if you want to say,
my pleasure.
You can hang in there if you want, because I think we're going to get a call in a little bit. But you don't have to. I mean, I don't know. Your neck must be like twisted right now. Well, you just got us on speaker.
Oh, me?
No, I was talking to Jeff.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
okay. I'm gonna let
do
Jeff.
it.
I'll let Jeff stay, and I'm gonna go. And everybody have a great weekend.
Have a
and
wonderful
thanks again
day.
for
Thank
doing
you
this
so
show.
much.
All right.
Awesome.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Okay.
Susan Ash from the Kratom National Kratom Association.
That's kind of screwed up thinking about the whole situation, you know?
American
Like, people have been relying on something for years and years, and all of a sudden, within a month, it's done.
Yeah, I don't. These emergency acts are ridiculous because there's nobody like there's no one here is worried about Kratom.
No, I think it's all the pharmaceutical companies. They realize that there's something good in
No
there.
consumers are out. No people who are actually being affected by any. There's nothing. There's not a single guy who's like, "There's a guy at Kratom down the road."
He's all falling out, man. You got to get him. He's dead.
No.
Sleep in his
Meth
car.
problem. Yeah, meth problem.
He's
Big
not
problem.
sleeping.
You know, like you said, meth. Big problem. Maybe we'll take care of that. Handle that problem.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
We'd all love it. You know, when you see tweakers, you're like, "Come on, guys! Like, you don't see these people. You get it. Like, you haven't dealt with this."
Eat a sandwich. Take a nap.
So we have to finally do our shout outs because it's been a long time we didn't do it. But
they're awesome.
they're going to be awesome. We're going to make them awesome.
Yeah.
The shout outs?
Sue's going to interrupt on every single one of them, I guarantee you. And he's going to talk about, oh, wait a minute, I went to that Way to Grow and they didn't tell me about this Way to Grow. And yeah, right?
No, actually,
right.
I'm not allowed to share my opinion.
Shut your mouth. So big shout out to Way to Grow.
Yep.
7 locations all over Colorado. I actually will let you talk to. What's your favorite Way to Grow?
I use organics and super soil, and then some. I've been using a lot of
There's
kombucha.
a thing there. You need light bulbs right now. That you what do you do with those?
Yeah.
Actually, man, I bet Way to Grow stock Solus Tech, and they're awesome bulbs. I recommend Solus Tech all day long.
Well, right now they don't have Solus Tech. I think that they do have.
Oh, I'm sure they sell them though.
I think those are Hortiluxes, right? Do we have the list of the?
Those are definitely Hortiluxes.
Those look like Hortiluxes to me.
That's a good deal too. Holy crap, guys! Hey, get to Way to Grow. Get to Way to Grow because that's a really good deal on bulbs, and it only lasts till 9/21.
It's not
Yeah,
long. I know.
no,
Thank you for that. I knew you would
in
get
5
excited.
days.
I knew you would get excited to make my whole thing work because.
Well, it's not that. It's like that's a good price on bulbs.
Besides the fact that that's not all they do, but yeah, this is their big got bulb sale, and the $59.99 HPS Hortilux deal is definitely
like half
and the
off.
$69.99 on the 600 is crazy because normally the 600s it don't matter if they do a sale; those things are always way more expensive because not enough people buy them because they don't understand that a whole bunch more points of light is way better than a big shit light up in the middle that burns too hot and makes you have to go far away from the plant. So get back to those 600s if you can, and then blues. We all know we get the blues once in a while.
Everybody needs blue.
We get
Gotta
the
have
blues when our
Everybody.
lights aren't working. And we're like, man, if I just had a new blue. But you put a new Thaui blue light in your room, your bedroom, and just watch your plants go like, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, they love it.
And what people don't understand, and also, I mean, these aren't necessarily for your mother plants, but in general, just the health of the plant has to match all the way through your thing. So if you start switching out like if you start like making your moms happy, like you put your moms under low light and take cuts off of those, and then put those cuts under high light,
They're gonna fry
then
out.
they stress out, and then you've got a bad start. So when you go and get these bulbs, you might as well just get all new bulbs.
That's a terrific deal on high. Seriously, that's one of the best deals
Look,
on
he's in
high.
shock right now. This is
Yeah,
this is a shocker deal. The shocker. Yeah, give it.
That is a great deal on bulbs, man. For real.
All right, so we
see, who else?
also at waytogrow.net if you
Waytogrow.net.
if you want to check out
Hit
what they
them
got
up.
in there.
All their
I
locations.
think you sound like a robot, by the way.
I do.
Okay, so
Robot.
So just
That is
stay
a
in the
good-
robot mode. Yeah,
That is
so
a good deal
much
on
for
bulbs.
Robot.
just say that.
The
Good.
bulbs are good.
Okay, that's not a robot.
I
Good
know.
deal.
I don't know. I don't
Oh.
do that stuff. But
But
Incredible.
it's because I had too many of these. Or not enough.
what did you have?
I did not have enough Incredibles.
No, not enough. Never enough Incredibles. Incredible edibles. The highest quality. Look at that
Hands
website.
down, some of the best edibles in Colorado and around.
Now they're
Yeah.
in Vegas and they're moving around the world and taking over. Look at Find a Store and they have a whole map of America. They don't even mess around.
No.
It's not like Find a Store in Colorado, a little square box. We've moved up to the big squiggly wiggly America thing.
Plus, they're always coming out with new products that taste great, and they got those great pens and stuff.
Nothing bad about new products that taste great. Right?
Yeah. And they get their pens, those black labels. And
Pens are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're usually sold out before you ever get to the so you pretty much with those, if you
Holy-
find out they're coming, you better Get in there.
And apparently it's sold all over Colorado, judging by the map. Like they have the whole thing saturated. Apparently,
it's a saturation point. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful looking map. We love it.
Great gear.
I think what time of year is it right now? Oh, we're getting close to pumpkin time, right?
Fall.
It's almost pumpkin time.
It's almost that.
Dude, if you say pumpkin spice Incredibles, man, somebody's gonna punch you. Don't even do it.
They already do pumpkin thing.
Pumpkin spice?
Not spice, but
oh, thank God.
Just relax. Just relax. They do. It's awesome.
It's good.
They're so good.
One of the better ones. It is one of the better ones.
Dude, all their stuff's so good. I like their Fireberry bar.
Fireberry is my favorite personal. Everyone knows that. They copy me. You're copying me too?
Quick little bite.
We just have similar tastes, I guess.
I guess. Somehow. I don't know how, but not in many things, that's for sure. Oh, my God. Speaking of which, look at that. Tanner in the house. Oh.
The transition
You're not on the air. We're doing commercials. Go step away. Step away from the mic.
but we're on the...
Step away. Go to that one over there. Go downstairs. Downstairs is better for you. So we wait. Also, I Love Incredibles is the web. iloveincredibles.com if you want to keep up with that one. And we're jumping right on over to our buddies over at Dark Horse Genetics.
Good team back there at Incredibles too. Everybody does
something. Tanner walked in right when we said Dark Horse. Almost right when. If he was like a minute, 30 seconds later. Perfect timing. Dark Horse Genetics. Where is the current drops? Tell me those current drops.
You know, they have limited drops but unlimited flavors.
Unlimited. No, they were crushing it, and they've got some great collaborations going on. I heard these guys from TH Seeds. I don't know who they are, but they're doing some sort of collab.
Man, I grew some of their stuff a while ago.
Oh, don't even start. Dude.
It was Electrical M&G. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I heard about that. One guy grew that. It was awesome. And they are also doing collabs with the guys over there with the Gorilla Glue, which is awesome. So you get certified Gorilla Glue stuff.
Can we talk about the seeds, or is it just the concentrates?
I'm talking about all of it.
Oh,
dude, I know so many people that just love their gear. Like from the Bruce Banner, he's really. I mean, you see what he's doing. He's working a bunch of great lines. And
he's got the Banner 3.0 right now. Came out and everyone went nuts. That's when I was up at the show, up in Alaska. Every single person basically
just
picked that up.
Good breeding, solid. The guy knows exactly what he's doing. Jason's a good guy.
Yeah, Jason's a great guy. We're going go-karting tomorrow.
Nice. Where?
Yes.
At the.
I'll tell you later. But those guys also represent a bunch of other products. If you get on their website, they got Jar Farms. I think I got a link to there. They're doing some things. They're actually getting the first genetics into shops here that people can get in seed form finally, instead of being
Recommend.
Both.
Both,
nice.
yes.
Excellent.
And seeds are rec too.
Right? Exactly. So that's
and on seeds here now.
What's that? Not seeds here now.
No, but I said and also on there too.
On there too.
But I was like, that's like, it was just like the quick.
Oh,
that was just the quick.
That was a quick jump.
The quick jump, but we're gonna wait and go back to that.
Quick. Yeah,
it was just the, you know.
Did James
that's
pay
the
for
other
that?
place to get them.
James paid you extra for that little quip.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
James, you
it's that extra.
Okay, yeah. He just double dropped you. He gave you a double drop. But yeah, you can follow their Instagram account. Obviously, you see what they're doing daily. The kid is down there pressing rosin.
I've never looked at their extracts. It looks terrific.
You got the kid. You got Tanner. We know we got quality price. And check out those new standard rosin play. Oh yeah, booyah! The new decent. They're actually really good. The kid did good.
Plain.
The kid did good. He made some good plates there. I'm telling you. When I was up, I was looking at other people's stuff. I'm like, I think the kid's got it. Look at all these new things. Oh, I have to pull up the special for you just keep going.
See what we got there, man. We got some Maestro, Girl Scout cookies, Bruce Banner, some Ghost OG Bruce Banner.
Get all excited.
I mean,
Hulk 29.
Dude, Lemon Cat Piss Bruce Banner. Wow. Yeah, go look at their recreational retail seed packs, because some of that stuff looks great.
Yeah.
Super natural resin, so it's like ghost infused and stuff.
Nice. So also moving on. Our buddies over at Bill. Jumping. Jiminy.
Hit it once too many.
Where are we at?
I mean, I could get, dude. Jeremy Silva is he's awesome, and they do great work. And if you'd like,
awesome. And even you had a problem, and he fixed it, right?
He fixed it 100%, 20%. Man, I can't say enough positive stuff about Build as well. Nice guy. They get you your stuff. I mean, I ordered
What did you get?
I order pallets of like Malibu
There
and
it is. Look on the page. There it is on the page.
dude, their
Malibu.
pumice stone. They sell like a heavier duty giant pumice that if you're gonna do recycled soil, you should put it in there because the microbes and stuff don't just destroy it immediately.
Yep.
And
that's $20 a bag right there, cubic foot. They can also do custom blends, whatever you want. I mean, I think now it's finally relaxing for them a little bit because
they were so busy. It was hard to get something for a
Yeah,
little
he was
while.
moving and shaking.
I would be. I mean, there's certain people that guy, he must get like 3 hours sleep or maybe 5 if he's lucky. But he's just putting out the best product, and also customer service top. Can't beat customer service.
No, you can call him and ask him anything.
Oh, for sure. And he's got good people working with him too. Unfortunately, he can't do everything. But it's great because he's expanded since he's been involved with us. Like, I think 3 times.
Plus, it's really nice that he shows his products working in conjunction with cannabis, so you can see like how they work nicely and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not like, oh, look at your tomatoes.
Yeah.
No, we definitely no tomatoes. Website, buildasoil.what?
.com.
Right. I hope so. I don't know. I want to say so unless I know. Do I know?
Buildasoil.com.
He got it. He got the .com. Good job. Mm-hmm. I hate when people. I mean, I don't hate it, but
who would get buildasoil.com before him though? You know, it's like you gotta go .com or like a gov or something.
Look at that.
Wow.
Perps.
All right. Now, give the guy a call. Pick up your best products, and
they literally ship you from like a box to like a whole truckload if you want.
Anything you need. And jumping on over to our buddies from I've been waiting all day for this. This has been my thing. I've been waiting all day to talk about Grow Stones. How do they make them?
Do you use them?
I use them.
Are they awesome?
I make them.
How?
I'm making one right now.
Oh, cool.
You're not making one, you loser. I only have to drink bottles. That's why I
They just weigh my trash down a lot, but I get it.
I know what you get. I know what you're saying. But this is it's good to know.
So those are recycled beer bottles?
Yep.
How do they get them so white?
Because they, burn the hell out of them.
Bake them.
Bake them,
White ash. But gross, awesome ion exchange on them. It's just like
silica. Good source of silica too, right?
Is there silica in glass?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
The glass is silica.
Glass is silica. Yeah, for sure.
I think there is. But also different sizes, which is great. You have the drainage for the bottom. You got the stuff that runs in the middle.
Better than Hydroton because that stuff's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about Hydroton around, first of all, they float. So
and there's not a lot of porosity in the Hydroton versus this stuff. That stuff.
It's like runs around it. It doesn't go through it. And on top of that, when things float, like your perlite and Hydroton stuff, it ends up all at the top of your thing, and then everything else is just compacted below. This stuff don't float. So awesome stuff. And they also do a cocoa mix, so you can get it pre-mixed with cocoa, so that your cocoa's not all just super wet and saturated. That's huge. But for you, Mr. No-Till Soil Guy, that's a great thing.
We still till, but
okay, you're not no-till, but
yeah, but we still till it up and move it back in there. But yeah, that looks awesome. I might have to try that.
You know who to talk to, right?
You?
There you go.
There you go.
That's it. And what's their website again? Growstone?
Growstone.com.
Good job. See, I like those people who they get it. They don't mess around.
Well, who else would
Make
get
moves.
growth?
I get grow.orgs and .nets and .things. Look at waytogrow.net. Come on. You would think .com, right? Way to grow, but maybe not.
That's actually a good point.
There you go. And our buddies at Hydroponic Research. I was hanging out with them,
dude,
at the show.
I've heard some terrific results about this stuff from.
Yeah, it's definitely hands down easiest thing to run and on a large scale. I'm thinking because on a small scale, I personally think you should just stick to organics because there's really no reason you're not having to consistently do things on a regular and have 10 guys running your operation. And when you do that, it's very hard to transfer your brain into someone else's head. It has to happen.
If you got
I tried. It's really hard though when you were growing. You're like, hey, why didn't you do that? And you're like, why, huh? And then you didn't tell me. And you're like, but that's common sense. And then with this, that's all out the window because it's only 3 products. It's real simple. As long as they know how to use a scale, they can actually weigh stuff sometimes.
And if they don't, they should be fired.
Pretty much, because if you can't run a scale and you're in the weed game, you're not in the.
I've heard so much good stuff about Veg Bloom. I don't personally run salts, but I've heard, I know certain people that are running some of the largest grows in America with